Hi everyone. I want to talk a little bit about the grading scheme or the grading scale in Canvas. So I'm in one of my courses here, just a sample course where I have an assignment graded to show the total. By default, the total seems to be on the very right hand side. You can drag this total around if you want, or there should be a drop down to move that to the front. I personally like to have the total right next to the student so I can see it every time I launch into the gradebook. Now, a lot of people are going to want to see, and I think students as well, are going to want to see like the actual letter grade that accompanies that total. To make sure that that is displayed, you need to have a grading scheme set up. And I thought this was going to do it by default. I do have a default grading scale in there, and you can definitely make your own. But in the settings, there's a grading scheme. And when you enable the course grading scheme, there's a button underneath that says Set the Grading Scheme. If you don't do anything with that button, it's going to use a kind of a standard education grading scheme with the A plus and B plus, etc. So you're going to want to hit the Set Grading Scheme. You'll see what the current one is. You can either select one that is already available, one that I've created, or you could manage a grading scheme and create your own. So if you managed one, you could add a grading scheme and then select it from there. If you have a lot of people in your department that use the same grading scheme that is not the default one, I'd recommend just contacting me. I can put one together for you. But here is the two that I have in here right now. The WLC default grading scale without rounding and with rounding. The with rounding really says like if somebody's at a 94.8, it's going to round it up to 95 and give them the A. Some people view grades as being a hard cutoff, like you have to get all of the percentages to 95. So depending on which way you like to work with that, you can pick one of these grading scales and then use this grading standard and hit done. Make sure to save or update the course details in your settings screen. And now when I go over to grades, you're going to see that I have a letter grade there that matches the scale that I have. One of the things that I'll also point out while I'm looking at this is by default, assignments when you create them use points. You can actually change this to enter grades by percentage. And here's the example of like a 74.6 is still going to be a BC, whereas a 74.4 is going to drop it down to a C. So that's the rounding idea. If you want to manage other grade scales, again, you can add a different one. I know some departments and some classes, depending on the rigor, etc., might have a slightly different grading scale there. But if you want to see that total grade, whether you view it as points or percentages, you're going to need to set a default grading scale. And you can choose from the two that are there or create your own. Hopefully that helps. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ask.